In the Balkans, close to Central Europe, there is a stunning country known as Serbia, home to the Serbian people. This country has made a name for itself in various ways throughout history. Despite not having any coastline, Serbia is surrounded by several Balkan and European countries. For example, to the north, it shares borders with Hungary, Croatia, and Romania, while to the west it is bordered by Bosnia and Herzegovina. In the south, it neighbors Montenegro and Bulgaria. Additionally, Serbia does not officially recognize Kosovo, which is also located to its south. Serbia spans an area of 88,000 square kilometers, making it relatively large compared to both European and Balkan countries. Its capital and most well-known city is Belgrade. Currently, around 7 million people live in Serbia, with nearly 2 million residing in Belgrade. Before discussing contemporary life in Belgrade, it's essential to touch on Serbia's historical background. The Serbian people have been involved in numerous complex historical events. It is believed that the Serbs first arrived in the region now known as Serbia around the 7th century, belonging to the South Slavic ethnic group. Interestingly, the name of their former state, Yugoslavia, means land of the South Slavs. From the 7th to the 14th century, the Serbs established their own kingdoms and principalities, during which time they also adopted Christianity. In the 14th century, they encountered the Ottoman Empire, a powerful Turkish state, and engaged in several battles. For instance, in the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, significant losses were incurred, including the death of Prince Lazar from the Serbs and Sultan Murad from the Ottomans. Sultan Murad was even assassinated by a Serbian soldier after the battle. By 1521, under Sultan Suleiman, the Ottomans captured Belgrade, fully incorporating the Serbian principalities into Ottoman territory. The Serbs remained under Ottoman rule until 1878 and gained full independence with the Berlin Treaty, re-establishing their kingdom. In the 20th century, the Balkan Wars and World War I erupted. In 1914, a Serb named Gavrilo Princip assassinated the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, triggering World War I. It is said that over 1 million Serbs perished in this war. After the war, the South Slavic nations united under the name Yugoslavia. After Yugoslavia, the country's name was changed to Serbia and Montenegro in 2003. In 2006, Montenegro separated from Serbia and declared its independence. Thus, the last remnants of Yugoslavia were dissolved, and Serbia returned to being an independent country. Worse for Serbia, in 2008, Kosovo, with a majority Albanian population, also declared its independence from Serbia. Today, Serbia does not officially recognize Kosovo as a state, and the border between these two regions is protected by NATO. Today, Serbia has this flag. The background of the flag features horizontal stripes of red, blue, and white. These are called the Pan-Slavic colors. Therefore, these three colors hold similar meanings and importance for all Slavic nations. Red is said to represent the bloodshed and bravery of the Slavs, blue represents freedom and loyalty, and white represents peace and nobility. On the left side of the flag, there is a red shield with a royal crown and the Serbian coat of arms. This emblem was also used by the Serbian kingdoms in the past. In this way, the modern Serbian state may have wanted to convey a message of strength by placing the emblem of their powerful historical kingdom on their current flag. When you go to Serbia, you will also see that their alphabet is the Cyrillic alphabet. Almost all modern Slavic countries use the Cyrillic alphabet. In this alphabet, there is a letter for each sound, and it is read as it is written. Additionally, Serbian can be translated into Latin alphabets as well as Cyrillic. Thus, in Belgrade, you can see some signs in the Latin alphabet and some in the Serbian Cyrillic alphabet. Even if you are unfamiliar with their alphabet, you can win the favor of the Serbs by learning at least a few Serbian words. For example, in Serbian, hello is zdravo. Or if you meet a new Serbian person, you can say kako si to ask how they are. They use da to say yes, while for no, they say na instead of no. If you say volimte to someone there, it means you are saying I love you. If we take a look at the country's currency, they use the Serbian dinar. Since Serbia is not a member of the European Union, they do not use the euro but their own currency. For instance, they have large banknotes like 2,000 dinars. Currently, 2,000 Serbian dinars are equivalent to 17 euros. This indicates that the Serbian currency is significantly devalued compared to the euro. On the 100 dinar note, you might recognize a familiar face, that of the world-renowned scientist Nikola Tesla. Yes, Tesla was a Serbian citizen and has a dedicated museum in Belgrade. You will see details about Tesla's life in the second part of our Serbia video. Tesla is such a national treasure for this country that they even named Belgrade's airport after him. Today, when you find yourself in Belgrade, the first place you're likely to step into and see is Knez Mihailova Street. This is the busiest pedestrian street in Belgrade and has a very grand structure. Named after Prince Mihailo III of Serbia, this street is lined with many world-famous stores. The country's elite tourists and ordinary citizens all spend a lot of time on this pedestrian street. On both sides of the street, you will see magnificent high-rise buildings with European architecture. Nearly all these buildings are in cream or different shades of white. Each architecture is easily over 100 years old, adding a valuable air to Serbia's pedestrian street. About 100 years ago, at the beginning of the 1900s, this street looked exactly like this. If you notice, all the architecture surrounding the street has been excellently preserved and has reached the present day. Another point that may catch your eye is that this street was not a pedestrian-only road at that time. Cars could travel down the middle of the street. People even used to drive their livestock down the center of the street. Over time, this street has been transformed into a pedestrian-only zone. Even back then, it was the busiest street, serving as a route where people both socialized and shopped. Nowadays, this street is filled with street musicians. In Belgrade, street musicians perform their music without any restrictions, showcasing their talents with various instruments and hoping for donations from passers-by. Some play the piano, some are into guitars, while others sing. At any hour of the day, you will see different people setting up their music stands on this street. While listening to their music, you will come across street vendors selling popcorn in the middle of the street. Serbs must really love popcorn, as there are many street vendors selling it all around the city. Although the architecture in Belgrade is grand and worthy of photographing, the tram and metrobus networks running through the streets hinder your perfect view of these structures. If you try to take a photo of a building or the sky from across the street, the abundance of cables makes it challenging and disrupts your visual enjoyment. Due to these cable connections, underpasses have been built for pedestrians to cross the street rather than overpasses, and these underpasses in Belgrade appear quite clean and new. On the other hand, there is a very positive detail regarding transportation. The capital city of Belgrade covers an area of only 360 square kilometers, making transportation within the city very easy. Even better, there are free public transportation services that take you from the airport to the city center. No matter where you are in the city, if you get on the red buses, you board from the middle of the bus and travel for free. If you think the city is small and choose to take a taxi instead, you would be making a big mistake. This is because taxi drivers in Serbia are very cunning. For example, they charge based on the number of passengers to take you from the airport to the city center. For 3 people, the price they quote is 50 euros. The distance between the center and the airport is 14 kilometers, and this price is unacceptable. Instead, it would be more sensible to take the free number 72 red municipal buses waiting at the airport exit to get to the city center and use the same bus to go from the Zeleni Venak stop in the city to the airport. When you examine the private vehicles in the city, you might be a bit disappointed. Even in less developed countries than Serbia, you can see much more luxurious and premium class vehicles in the capitals, while most of the cars used in the capital, Belgrade, cater to the middle segment. Also, Serbs do not have their own modern branded cars. During the Yugoslav era, cars named Zastava Jugo were produced and used in the country. In 2008, the production of their brand ceased, and they started producing cars like the Fiat 500L under the Fiat umbrella. Today, some of the buses in public transportation are also produced by this brand, holding an 18% significant market share in the automotive sector within the country. The most common car brand you will see on the streets of Belgrade is usually Skoda. This shouldn't be too surprising since the Serbian people located in a region close to the Czech Republic might prefer Czech-made Skoda cars. In terms of transportation, it should also be noted that since Belgrade is not as large a city as it is perceived to be, there has been no need or investment in a metro network. People use municipal buses, metro buses, and white taxis for public transportation. You can easily reach most places on foot in the city. For instance, the city is divided by a river called the Sava River. More than half of those who stay in Belgrade or visit there for a short time spend their time on the south side of the river. Those who do not need to go to the north side of the city almost do not need public transportation. If you ask what is on the north side, it is largely quiet, in this area called New Belgrade. There are buildings from the Yugoslav era that are still inhabited, main offices of world-renowned companies like Microsoft and Huawei, factories, the airport and sports halls. Essentially, the Serbs have divided the city according to its purpose. The south side is entirely touristy, with cafes, eye-catching architecture, hotels, museums and parks, while the north side has a lifeless existence where business operations occur. The opposing sides of the Sava River are like two completely different cities. Additionally, Serbia's relations with the Chinese must be very good, as there are many Chinese signs and Chinese flags on the northern side of the river. There are even restaurants, hotels, and Chinese casinos with Chinese writing near the airport. During our visit, the President of China visited the country. This indicates that the two countries have close relations. Serbian citizens must view this policy favorably since they welcomed the Chinese president with a large crowd upon his arrival. Another topic to mention is that people in Belgrade confidently drink water from street fountains. This is a common practice among both locals and tourists. If you travel to other Balkan countries, you will notice that many people drink from street fountains and do not pay for water. Researching this online, you will find that the street fountain water in Belgrade is considered safe. The only place in Serbia where tap water quality is questioned is in the northern city of Zrenjanin. However, aside from the street fountain water, it is advised not to drink water directly from the tap in your accommodation in Belgrade. For instance, to understand how hard the water is, you can do a simple test by filling a bottle to the top. As you can see, the water is not clear and contains a high amount of lime. You don't need to be a laboratory expert to notice this. Additionally, the bottled water sold in plastic bottles in markets is generally subpar. This might depend on how accustomed you are to high-quality water. For instance, in my own country, the bottled water available in markets is much better. To genuinely drink quality water in Serbia, you might opt for the glass bottled water in cafes, which offers a significantly better mineral content and taste. When you walk into supermarkets and glance at the prices, you will find them to be quite reasonable. There is a supermarket chain called Maxi where people typically do their grocery shopping. Despite Serbia's annual inflation rate being around 12% last year, prices are relatively lower compared to European countries. For instance, the price of a liter of organic milk is about 200 dinars on average. Considering that €1 equals approximately 120 Serbian dinars, you can buy quality milk for about €1.5. Standard packages of salami and sausages cost around €2. Unprocessed meats are also priced between 1.5 to €2. Alcohol is indeed cheap. Standard cans of beer cost less than 200 dinars, meaning you can get a beer for about €1.5. If you want to enjoy a nice pasta meal, packages of pasta range from €1 to €2. In summary, you can say that most items in Serbia cost between €1 to €2 per package or unit. By the way, contrary to popular belief, internet abbreviations in Serbia are not written as SR but as RS. You can notice this on various products and signs. If you are looking for fresher and cheaper products, walking south out of Belgrade's tourist areas will lead you to local markets. These markets operate in a traditional manner, with vendors setting up stalls and displaying their fresh produce for sale to customers. This form of market system is classic and similar to what you find in other Balkan and European countries. In the quieter back streets of the city, although safety might not be an issue, some buildings are defaced with graffiti. There is significant noise pollution in these areas, but overall, the street cleaners in Belgrade do a good job. This video covers the first part of my trip to Serbia. The second video will be with you in a week. I would appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.